Hello, hello. I don't know how the internet's going to be today. I hope it's good enough to support everything. I'm actually going to close a few tabs here, and that might assist in making things flow a little bit better. I actually have closed quite a few tabs. It's like way less tabs than I normally have open. Way less, which is kind of neat. Hello, Illuminated. How are you? How are you? How are things going in your world? All right, I'm just going to sit here and sip my tea and wait and wait a moment for people to arrive. And you know what? I'm going to give myself a couple weeks. Hi, Kamal. How are you, Jeet? Hello, Mohawk. Are you Mohawk, though? Hello, hello. I'm going to check on, not that, this one. Hello, hello. Edit. I didn't set up the live goals. Oh, we got bananas on there, do we? A little hi friend. He's cute. Well, let's leave that. Hello, how are you? How are you? Let's see, what do we have here? I didn't set up the gifts today. Why do you want me to follow you? What's your content about? What do you do? Oh, that's they have the gifts all mixed up, so it makes it a little bit of a pain. Hello, Susan. How are you? And let's make that one there. Sure, that works. How are you? How are you? Just waiting for some of the regulars to get here. I haven't shared it yet, so I'm going to be doing that for a moment. Hello, Teresa. How are you? How are you feeling? How are you doing? Just have to. How are you doing, love? Just have to do my sharing because sharing is caring. Plus, how will my followers know unless they're online? Unless I, sending out a little thing gives them just a little more notice. But here I am. Hello, how are you, chickadee? Oh, who did I leave with? I think that one. It's interesting though, because I've changed so much of what I do that the people that used to follow me, they don't really resonate with me as much anymore. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Today I've had some cranky energy. And the cranky energy came from just having some tech kind of stuff that was just a bit annoying. And so because it was just little annoying things that were happening. Hi, Carol. I just got frustrated with it. It's like I just wanted to do the things that I wanted to do and get them done. And then it was just... So I went and sat outside and ate my lunch sitting on the grass and listening to the birds and just relaxing. I thought that would be the best bet. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Hi, G. I'm doing well. How are you? Lovely hot tea. I went to make a tea with milk and the milk had went bad. It was just one of those days where, you know how it is. It tries your patience, and sometimes I just got frustrated with it, and I swore at my computer because it wasn't working the way that I wanted it to. And I was just like, oh my God, like, I just want you to do this thing, like just this thing. Like, can we just do this thing? Like, and so I got mad. And then I swore at the computer, and I was like, okay, I think I need to go do something else. Needless to say, my dishes are all done. And I got to sit outside for a little while and commune with nature, which is always nice. And came back in a bit better space. And I finished the one thing that I wanted to get accomplished. So that's good. I have the guide, the student playbook, I like to call it, because we don't want to call it work, but the student playbook for the Bridge to Light Phase 2. And that thing is 90 pages, guys. 90 pages worth of value, worth of education, worth of, you've got journal prompts and activations, and you've got the scripts for the meditations. So if you don't want to listen to the recordings that I did of the meditations, you can just read them off yourself and go through the stages that you have to go through. But I recorded the meditations too, and there's more that'll come together as I go through the course, because things get identified along the way. Carol's one of my favorite students, because Carol's one that makes me dot my I's and cross my T's and make sure that things are thorough. So I appreciate students like Carol. Even if they do ultimately give me more work. But if you treat it like play, then, I mean, we're all just playing. So very happy to say it is done. It is uploaded, the portal. I've got the meditations up there for the core practices. I have the book up there, so that it has all, like, the entire guide. And we have, yeah. Well, I will be putting together sometime in August the meeting for the Bridge to Light Phase 1. So I'll put that meeting together at some point this month. So we'll get, whoever wants to partake in that meeting can join. So yeah, we'll get that together. I have to decline. I'm just going to decline verbally. So just give me 1 second, guys. Hey, I'm just in the middle of doing my live, but I didn't want to just decline and message. I wanted to do it politely. Yeah, I'll call you later. Okay. 5-ish. Maybe a little earlier, but by 5-ish. Okay. All right. Love you. Bye. There. Sorry. Sometimes, relationships, you get little, friction pieces that happen, right? And you move through them, and it's growth, and it's, it's healing and stuff like that. So anyway, it's just sometimes it's important to just communicate verbally, because when you communicate by text, it can be so misinterpreted. Because the problem with text is that you're not reading it from the direction of what I wrote it. You're hearing it in the way that you are feeling. So if I'm a little bit frustrated, or if I think you're frustrated, if my perception is something to do with the energy not being good, then I might read the text in a completely different tone of voice, and it can come off like really bad, right? So it's always better to communicate by voice when you can, because they can hear the tone and the sincerity within your voice. So anyway, that's part of the reason of answering it. But yes, Bridge to Light Phase 2 begins tomorrow night. Super excited about that. If somebody missed the first class of the Bridge to Light and wanted to join it, I would allow that. But once it goes past like the second class, then you're spending too much time playing catch up. So I would just suggest that you take it as a recorded class, as opposed to taking the live version. The live version is obviously better because I'm going to be teaching to you the entire time, and you have the opportunity to ask questions and things like that. So it definitely makes more sense to take the live class. Hello, Snea. How are you? So that's Bridge to Light Phase 2, and that starts tomorrow. And that's all about living in embodiment, right? So the way that you create the life that you want is by living as the expression of that life. So if you want to have fit life, you don't get a fit life by sitting on the couch, watching TV all day long, all evening long, eating whatever you want, and having just a very sedentary life. You don't have a fit life eating tons and tons and tons of processed garbage, right? So that's, if you want to have a fit life, then or a healthy life, we'll just call it a healthy. If you want to have a healthy life, then what you have to do is do the things that equate to healthiness. So, making sure that you're eating a balanced diet and a healthy amount for you. Maybe that you're incorporating fasting into it, that you've got good water intake. There's lots of stuff. And it's funny, I'm saying water intake when multidimensional muse steps by. That's your reminder to drink some water. I'm like, I can't believe you came in when I was saying drink water. Of all the moments. So yeah, I have been quite busy with putting together the 2 classes. The other class that releases on the 9th, which is a Saturday, I recognize that. Hello, how are you? That I recognize that, but that's because of the energy celestially, like the planetary energy at that point. I just wanted to do it on that particular day. Plus, I didn't do this. I didn't think about this when I did it, but I know that my brain must have created it that way. But it's on the 9th at 6:30, which is 963, or in the other direction would be 369. So I probably did a little bit of that as well. The Bridge to Light starts at 3:30 in the afternoon on Wednesday, so tomorrow, for those that are interested in that. So lots of stuff going on. We had that mini class. There's people here that attended the mini class on frequency, the hidden cost of frequency, and how many things are disrupting our energy. And I mean, I'm not going to speak for them entirely, but they seemed to really enjoy the class. And now that's available on the website, that you can just purchase it. You can watch the recording. You can get the PDF. You can get the sigils. You can get the rite, or the decree, and the audio of the meditation, the powerful meditation that we did. So all of that is in a package on the website that you can just purchase that, as well as books that I've written in the shop. So it's just www.anshara'el.com/shop to go to that. Yeah, nice. Nice. Very nice. Hello. Yes, Auntie. Yes, Auntie. I looked at it and for a moment there, I was like, Is that someone trolling me? But no, I am your auntie. Hi, Siobhan. How are you? How are you, love? It's Vinny. Okay. I wasn't sure because I thought Siobhan had with her art, she did one. Hi, Vinny. How are you doing? It's been far too long. That's hilarious. Right? I show up on your for you page. Well, you know you've hit it big when you just randomly show up on your nephew's for you page. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So yeah, so there's lots of books available. There's lots of courses available. There's groups, and the groups are jam-packed full of value. So definitely check the stuff out there for sure. Okay. And yeah, so all good things, Ascension, right? It's all about embodiment at this level. So the other class that's starting is the CARES class. And what CARES stands for is Krystic Elemental Harmonic Restoration System. So CARES, spelled KEHRS. But, you know, if you think about it, literally, linguistically, there we go. I was lyrically wouldn't get out of my mouth when I was trying to say linguistically. But when you think of it linguistically, you would pronounce KEHRS as care. So it worked out that way. That's a healing methodology, or a healing modality. There we go. A healing modality. My nephew got me all frazzled. Got me all frazzled. So it's a healing methodology or modality that I channeled. No, it's okay. It was just not the thing I thought I was going to see. And I can see your face. I just love you. I just love you. And I really, truly hope that you're doing well. And I miss you. It's been far too long, like I said. But I did live in Alberta for 14 years. Now your sisters are out there and I'm not, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the healing program is restoring you to your original divine blueprint. So that's the point of it. It uses harmonics, which is sound. It uses the elements, and it uses sacred geometry. So we're really going to the core of healing as we should. So definitely check those things out. There are scholarships available. And as I told you before, we don't get the new earth by doing anything other than create it. So we have to create the very foundations. And, you know, like we can understand that there are things that are not working for us in the way that society is now. And it's progressively getting more and more chaotic over. It's just, right? What's on your bingo card for 2025 for weird things happening? You know, that's the kind of stuff that we're dealing with. So there's a lot of talk in the spiritual community about creating the new earth, and we don't do that by necessarily working with the systems the way that they are, right? We have to create it from new because it's built in a corrupted system by corrupted people for the purpose of control, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to actually create the new. So how do we create the new? Well, through embodiment. And that's what the Bridge to Light Phase 2 is all about, is the embodiment part of it. And CARES is just bringing back the way that we're supposed to heal. So it's creating a new system for healing. We need to be creating new banking systems, new education systems. That's what Anshara'El is a new education system where we're looking at learning the truth about who and what we are and how we're meant to live. Returning to our Krystic roots. And that's outside of religion. I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. Religion is a man-made construct used to control society. So, and to reframe our history. It was done a lot in order, because when you hijack the story, you can control the population. That's how easy it is. When you hijack the story, you can control the population. Nice, Basil. So important, right? Hi, Matt. So today we're going to be talking about something specific, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about those types of things. So it's about embodiment at the school or Anshara'El pathway of ascension. I am implementing a scholarship program, especially for my larger programs. And with that, it's a galaxy. So cute. With that, what that means is that I am opening up the option to barter, or what would be ambassadorship. Both of those types of concepts. So when we're talking about the scholarship, you're saying if you can't afford the entire cost of the program, so let's say it's too much and fair, I can understand that. What we can do is enter into an agreement that you'll do something in an energetic exchange. And that can come in a variety of ways. And I've talked about this because I'll give a few different ideas. Let's say you have a car and I don't. So therefore, and I have healing that you would like. Maybe we can make a deal where I do the healing in exchange for the car. There's a tangible one. There could be that you're really, really great at YouTube and you can make really fancy YouTube videos, or you're just really skilled at YouTube and you could repurpose my content and share it out, right? Then that's something that would really benefit me. Oh, that one's cute. Carol, that was so cute. Oh, the gifts on TikTok, right? But that was really cute. There's also the ability for testimonials along with sharing content of mine. Like if I give you posts, then you share them so it reaches a broader market, a broader audience, right? So those are different ways. And they're just a couple of suggestions, or a couple of examples of ways that sacred reciprocity would work, right? So that's what I've opened up at Anshara'El Pathway of Ascension. And these things are by agreement for both of us, agree to it and say, yeah, okay, the value of that is such and such, and you're okay with paying this amount. And for, the energy exchange for the rest of it, we've agreed that this is what can happen. And I'm completely fine with making those agreements. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if we want to have those systems available to us, we have to create them. We're never going to have a bartering system if nobody enters into doesn't do any bartering, right? We have to do what it is we want to see in the world. And that's the same for you as well, right? If you're on if you're ascending, you're doing your ascension pathway, and you're not embodying the very practices or tools or the things that you're supposed to do, then how do you plan to ascend, right? We have to actually implement it. We have to actually make it practical and embody it in this time. So that's what Anshara'El is about, helping you on your pathway through a variety of programs and books and scrolls. There's a library at Anshara'El. It has several scrolls, is what I call them, or articles, but there's scrolls there that have a lot of very powerful information, or very great information for you to access. There's lots that are free. There's many that are not. You have to either be a member of a specific group to get access to it. But I do make the premium content available for group members of the Krystic Mastery Circle. So when you're somebody that's in one of the groups, depending on the level of group that you're in, I mean, if you're in the Temple of Light, it's a free group. So you get access to lots of beautiful things, but most of all, you get the journals that I make that are a part of this live. So I make a companion journal that goes with the information I share. So it has all of that for free on the website. And then the Ascension Gateway, you get a little bit more deeper content, but you also get early access to anything that is on the Truth Will Set You Free podcast, the Hidden Earth podcast. You get early access to all of that stuff. special teachings. You get access to that. In the tier, the next tier is the Guardian Pathway. So you keep the Ascension Gateway, plus then you get everything that's in the Guardian Gateway. Well, in the Guardian Gateway, you get 1 live minimum per month. This month we're getting 2, but that's because I had surgery, which messed up the end of July for me. So I wasn't able to do my lives. But those, that really held me back. So if you've been sitting on the idea of working with me, I would really appreciate it if you would jump on that opportunity now, because losing that 10 days minimum of just, being out, it could really help a single person. If you're looking on, if you're waiting to purchase something, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. The time is now. But anyway, so there's a lot going on there. So the gateway, you get access to a live with me this week, or this past one. The live that we had was the Hidden Frequency mini class, which I also open up to the general public. Now you could either pay for the monthly subscription and get it for free, or you can just pay for the live. The Krystic Mastery Circle is the next stage up, and you get another live plus deeper teaching. So each level you get deeper teachings. But in the Krystic Mastery Circle, you get the additional live. You also get the live from the Guardian Pathway, as well as the early release of everything in the Ascension Gateway, because you stay in those groups. So in that Krystic Mastery Circle, you get the second live with me. And we go into deeper concepts, or we're doing things like planetary grid work, because that's something that we're supposed to do, right? That's something that's a part of when we decided to, take on our journey here. Part of it is that we would, interact with Mother Gaia, and we would do healing on her as well, and on the grid, right? So we do that within the Krystic Mastery Circle. There's the Oracle, and each one of these gets as well, when I have larger things or additional things, they get discounts to those things as well. Now you don't get discounts across everything on the site from being in those groups, but I do give you good discounts on on additional classes that I put on. It's like, I think it might go 5, 10, 15, or it goes 10, 15, 20, depending on what it is. But there's the Oracle chamber. That's where it's more about the planetary alignments and about prophecy and channeling and things like that within that group. And then there's the Still Waters, which I do a collaboration with our very own Carol here. And that is a gentle temple space for those who are on their healing journey. And, it's such a beautiful, soft space. It's a much softer feel, but you get journal prompts, and you get transmissions and recordings. And once that group gets up and running, we'll do a live once a month in that group as well. And the same thing with the Oracle Chamber. There'll be one live for that group each month as well. So there's all that stuff and more. There's a ton of stuff. Realistically, just go to the website. If you have any questions, set up a free call, and we can talk, and and you can say what you're looking for, and then I'll tell you what I would suggest. I also am like a special menu items, that I have like a bunch of special menu items. And that's because it's more of like, I sit down and I'll connect in with your oversoul and see what's coming up for what you're potentially looking for or in alignment with. And sometimes that means that I'll be offering something like a soul reclamation session, or a Krystic nervous system upgrade. Those things are a bit more application based, because you have to be ready for it energetically. Just at the capacity, you just have to be at the frequency to handle the transmissions that you're going to receive. So yeah. So anyway, that stuff's all going on. All those books, all those courses. Bridge to Light starts tomorrow, and the CARES program starts on Saturday. And then we'll determine what day we're going to have the course based on the attendees of the CARES program. So we'll come up with some agreement between all the members. But the first class for sacred reasons was scheduled for where it was scheduled for. So today we're actually going to be talking about the soul depth mirror. So let's go into the cosmic context. So I always use true sidereal. I think that it absolutely matters exactly where the planets are in the sky at this time, as opposed to going by, well, it's August 5th, so it's before the, so we're in Leo season, just because it's that date. I like to look and actually look at the sky to determine these things. So the moon is in true Scorpio. It's waxing gibbous, and the Scorpio moon opens the portals into the undercurrent, the deep hidden layers of truth we often avoid. So as the light grows, so too does the intensity of what lies beneath. This is not a time for surface level clarity. This is a moment to face your depths with love, with power, and with truth. And it's what I've been doing. When I said, I got all irritated because things were going really slow. It's not that this stuff was going slow. That was really the thing that made me get really, there's something under the surface that needs to be examined. Right. And I know what it is, I've been doing this for 4 years, and I put my heart and soul into it. And I believe 110%, I mean, you can't really be over 100% anyway, but I believe 100% that I, am a success and will be, continue to be a success. I believe that, but the proof hasn't shown up. So it's been, it's, you have your moments. You have your moments. And that's what gives you the ability to look into the depths and go, okay. Because I know I had one that came up recently where it was like, I had this fear, and it wasn't really a fear, but it was the concept of what if it doesn't work out? What then? What would I do? And, it was kind of a scary thought. What would I do? But then at the end, it was like, well, you'd do what you always do, which is you'd figure it out. You'll just figure it out because that's what you always do. So, working through those, transmuting those things is important. So the sun is in Cancer and Venus and Mercury is the sun is in Cancer and Venus and Mercury are in Leo. So you're still emotionally sensitive. Isn't that the truth? Is that what you guys are experiencing? But now you are asked to anchor your voice and value in divine authenticity. What you feel is real. What you fear is also revealing where the treasure is buried. It's true. So the soul depth mirror does not flatter your ego. It shows you what still binds you, what still lives in shadow, and what is ready to be reclaimed as sacred power. Hi, Char. All right. Sip of tea. It's yummy. It's also getting cool, getting to the temperature where it's not as good. Please like and share the live if you can. It's good to see you too. I love you. I love you. It's so good to see you. All right. So before we enter these soul teachings, take a breath, right? Nice breath in. Release that. This is not surface work. This is sacred descent, an invitation into the depths of your being, where your true power has been waiting. It's in you. The soul depth mirror does not show you what you want to see. It shows you what you need to reclaim. So it's not always going to be comfortable. So in this broadcast, we will explore the shadow as sacred, the discomfort as a doorway, and the pain as a portal. These teachings are not for the faint of heart. They are for the brave ones who know that liberation lives on the other side of truth. So let us begin. See, you guys are brave. You guys are brave because you're here, right? Other people are just, they're scrolling and they're looking for something else. They're looking for something else. All right. But you guys are brave. So the mirror of depth reveals the unintegrated. Clarity without depth is incomplete. Many claim to be clear, but clarity born of repression is illusion. True clarity only arises when we have the courage to sit with the forgotten fragments of ourselves. Without integration, clarity is fragile and reactive. The soul demands depth. Scorpio energy guides us to revisit the locked doors within, memories, emotions, wounds we've buried, not to relive them, but to release their hold on our energy field. The soul depth mirror shows you where fear shaped your story, where survival overrode your sovereignty, and where self-protection silenced your soul's truth. At least one of us is. Right? The mirror is sacred. First, my nephew. Hello, Chris. This mirror is sacred. It does not exist to accuse or condemn, but to reflect. To lovingly say, this part of you is still waiting to be loved home. Right? So when I had that moment the other day of what if this doesn't work out? What would I do? Right? That was a moment for me to love that piece of myself that was afraid of failing, right? And who felt confused about, like, what would I do? Right? What would I do? But to also bring it to light and recognize that just because finance, like the money, that doesn't equate to failure or success. Not in my mind, not in what I find to be valuable, right? I find it valuable, the results that I've given to the people that I've worked with. And, that there's people who, have, overcome suicide, who have, healed in really, really profound ways. And that's far more valuable than money. Not that it's just money's necessary in the realm that, like, in the time that we're in the space that we're in, money is necessary. So, it's one of those things. What would you do if you didn't need money, or if money wasn't an option? I do what I'm doing now, and that's what I'm doing. I'm still doing it. But that's our opportunity. It was that opportunity for me to look at that part and say, I love that part. And, and that's why we look in those depths. So in seeing what we've repressed, we reclaim not only our pain, but our power. We retrieve the light entangled in the wound. Mm-hmm. Now, you've heard me talk a lot about shadow as being your best, like the best, most powerful thing that you have, right? Like that's where your strength is in your shadow. When you face those things and integrate them, they can no longer keep you trapped or small, or the pain is addressed. So your shadow is unwitnessed sacred. The shadow is not evil, it is unearthed. It is sacred memory hidden in survival patterns, in pain-based identities, and in inherited distortion. Every time we exile a part of ourselves, we strengthen the illusion of separation. The shadow forms when we turn away from our own divine essence and respond to shame, trauma, or judgment. Hi, Jessica. So to reclaim the shadow is to step into mastery. It means holding space for discomfort without bypassing or collapsing into it. So the other day when I had that feeling of what would happen, I was sitting outside and I was listening to the wind, and it was one of the high winds where it was like twinkling the tops of the trees, but I wasn't really feeling it in my yard. And I was just eating my supper on my deck because I try to go outside and eat and just sit in nature in the summertime and enjoy, just being, as opposed to being preoccupied with TV or sitting in front of a computer, right? I try not to sit in front of my computer to eat. So anyway, I was sitting out there and the wind just swooped down into my yard, went all the way through me and then whoosh back up and out of the yard. And I felt a message in the wind, even if I didn't hear it in like a voice or, get this big picture of it, but I felt a message from the wind and received it. Well, it ended up making me cry. And in the moment of crying, all of a sudden, this huge pain, like this sorrow just came up. And I realized in that moment that I was afraid of like, what would I do if this doesn't work? What am I going to do? Right. And that was the fear that came up. I could have just collapsed into that and cried into that space and just lived in that pain space and fell into that. But I didn't. I went, thank you for revealing what was beneath that pain. And then I burned it in the fire and I sent it away. And I stepped into the truth of it, which is you only fail if you stop trying. And it's not about trying, right? It's about embodying the truth of who and what you are and just living in that alignment. And that's exactly what I'm doing, is living within that alignment. I've made a lot of changes in the last year, and those changes have affected the audience that I was speaking to. People were showing up on my live and getting really a lot of free stuff. I was giving out tarot readings and oracle card readings, and they were full-on readings. It wasn't you showed up here and you got one card and a little bit of a message, and if you want a full reading, go to my site. It was, here's a full reading. Now, if you want a full reading, go to my site. Nobody wanted to go to my site and book a reading because they're getting it for free. Why would you want to? You could show up every single day and get another reading every single day without fail. I very, very seldom turned people away. I gave them free readings all the time and free healing and free so on and so forth. And, so I had to learn boundaries in that way. So the path of, make sure I'm at the right spot. I have to make sure. Yes, definitely. So the unwitnessed sacred longs to return, not to disrupt, but to reintegrate. Your truest gifts often lie beneath your deepest wounds. The path of Krystic remembrance is not perfection. It is presence. To meet your shadow is to meet the sacred in new form. Yes, no. I get what you meant. Not a cow. Not a cow. All right. So power resides where you reject yourself. This is a powerful concept. So power resides where you reject yourself. Every act of self-rejection creates an energetic fracture. In those moments when you silenced your truth, minimized your brilliance, or chose appeasement over authenticity, you gave your power away. Scorpio is the sign of death and resurrection. It teaches that what is buried is not gone. It can be retrieved, and it can be re-embodied, and it can be reborn. And that's what we aim to do, right? So you get your power back. Power is not control, it's coherence. It is the alignment of your will with your divine essence. So reclaiming power does not require a fight. It requires a return to the moments where you left yourself behind and a commitment to never do so again, right? So standing up for yourself, and it doesn't have to be standing up in a fight. Sometimes it's just standing up and walking away. Sometimes it's just having a boundary or closing a door, right? So your inner throne is still there. This invitation is to sit on it, not as the version of you had to be to survive, but as the one you came here to embody. And the throne's not anything like, hierarchical or tied to royalty in this sense. It's your inner throne. The soul is not fragile. It is fierce in truth. The soul cannot be broken, but it can be buried beneath stories of unworthiness. And how many of us, hi, I'm from the club of the unworthy. At some point in my life, I, learned that I was unworthy from the way that someone treated me. And so then I lived my life thinking I was unworthy and, right. We'll all put our hands up that we were in that club at one point in time, right? Had that little bit of unworthiness, not enough, not good enough, to be, all kinds of things, right? But we were worthy all along. So the soul cannot be broken. In the Scorpio mirror, these stories dissolve, right? Not by force, but by light. To walk as your soul is to speak truth even when your voice trembles, to embody integrity even when convenience tempts you, to love yourself even when others cannot, right? To always love yourself, to fiercely love yourself. You're not here to avoid pain. You are here to be the flame that transmutes it. Like I said, when I had that come in about what will I do if this doesn't work out, like what would I do? And that transmutation, when I sent that to the fire, that's exactly what I did. I went, I don't need to hold on to that. That's not my truth. That's not my truth. So the soul thrives in truth and it withers under pretense. Every time that you pretend to be something that you're not, or you give up your truth, right? When you give up your truth, be unworthy. And don't do that. That's kind of rude. No, for one, it's my live and I have a plan of what I'm going to be teaching, and I'm not just teaching to you, I'm teaching to YouTube as well, right? And I'm channeling a lot of what I say. And when someone comes in and demands that takes me out of the channel, right? That interrupts the stream. Yeah, you thought it was a good rewrite. I read it, but I didn't feel like saying it at that time, and I would have addressed it when I was done speaking. It's not about whether I liked it or not. It has nothing to do with that. I didn't dislike it. It's just the timing. It was just the demand that I give it, stop doing what I'm doing and pay attention to that. Right? It wasn't the be unworthy. It was the stop focusing on what you're saying and look at what I wrote. That was the one that went, no. Himweb. Yeah, I just actually talked about that at the beginning of the live, that we should talk to people in person and stuff because text can be misinterpreted, right? I did believe that you were saying it was seriousness. That's why I responded the way that I did. Yeah, no. No, the energy didn't come out that way for me, that's for sure, but all right, we're going back to it. So the soul thrives in truth and it withers under pretense. Every time you pretend to be something, you pretend to like something, you pretend that something is aligned with you that isn't, you fragment yourself, right? You weaken yourself. You dilute yourself. You get further away from your soul because you're not being you. So in this mirror, you are not shattered, you are sharpened. This is the refinement of a soul becoming sovereign. The mirror isn't here to destroy you. It's here to restore what you've forgotten, right? What you've forgotten. So there's a practice for this, and I'll talk about that, about the practice in a moment. Yeah. My thing's still being slow. Oh, straighten out. Check in with. So what does that sound like with everything that we've discussed up to this point? How does that come through, right? And it's peeling back. That's the peeling back the layers of the truth, right? That's what we've all been doing in our healing journey, right? And understanding that our truth can be even different than the other truth. That, perspective matters a lot. A little child seeing things in a specific way. And I love using the example, with my children, when I would send my, like my children, say, hiding at the store, right? And they get hiding underneath the clothes and they're all pretending. And you're like, if you don't get out here, I'm leaving. And then eventually, they won't. So then you leave. Well, the child sees that as you abandoned them. You left them behind. Whereas you never took your eyes off them, but they don't have your perspective. They didn't see that. They saw you leave. So to them, it's their truth that you left. To you, your truth is that you never stopped watching them. They were safe the entire time and you would never have left them. So those two truths exist simultaneously. And that's why sometimes when we come to our parents asking for, apologies for what they put us through, they can sometimes get defensive because they're like, but I didn't do anything. Right. In that situation, I never left my, and so it's important for us to recognize that both truths exist at the same time, bringing it to light and allowing ourselves to move past it and realize, okay, so, I can understand why my mom did that. I'm an adult now and I can hold myself and go back to that little child and say, it's okay. Mom never actually left. She saw you the whole time. You were never unsafe. Right. And then move forward from that. Right. That's how we integrate it. That's how we transmute it, is through understanding it and moving beyond it. Yeah, exactly. As a kid, you don't get that. You don't see it from a parental's point of view. Right. There's lots of things that happen to children, or that parents do that seems traumatizing to the child and was experienced as trauma by the child. Whereas for the parent, it wasn't intentional in any way, shape, or form. And maybe, they can't understand why the child feels that it was traumatic, because on their perspective, it didn't seem traumatic at all. Right. Like when you think about how, like things were really tough for my mom back in her day and age. And then, you have those people, like my uncles, teasing us and making fun of us and, whatever, they might think that that's not that big of a deal because of the time when they grew up and how they were constantly belittled and called names and stuff like that. So to have that joking back and forth, the type of joking, they might not have seen that from the same light because of their previous experiences as well. So their viewpoint. Right. And that doesn't mean that it wasn't traumatizing to be picked on by adults and poked fun at, and that, that caused insecurities or whatever. But the parent might not see it that way because their experience was completely different than yours. Right. Their experience might have been, like that was really, really commonplace to be made fun of, to be teased, to be called names. So to have that ribbing, which wasn't, like the way that they maybe heard it in such a disciplinary way. So it's where we get to be adults and we get to look at things from way, way back, right? We get to look at things way, way back and go, okay, I can understand. It doesn't mean that the trauma didn't exist. It doesn't mean that, but it means that at least I can understand it from the adult perspective, or the wise brain is what it's, what they call it, the wise brain, instead of the monkey brain. Right. But the child brain is going to be looking at it differently. Right. I remember when, like one of the things that helped me on perspective, and it was really a different type of perspective, but the same thing, in that I'm looking up to my uncle who's 6'4" and thinking, oh my God, my uncle's giant. He's giant. He's so big. Well, I'm 5'8". So when I stood up as a child, I stood up into adulthood, my uncle no longer seemed like a giant. He seemed like a normal, average, everyday guy because I ended up being quite tall. That's another example of perspective. Like even your perspective on situations is completely different the way that it visualizes it. Hi, Noza. How are you? And hi, link below. So yeah, that's, that's a lot of what we're experiencing, or, the ways that we can look at those things and determine how to move beyond them. And then you're just transmuting it. Use the elements to transmute things. Fire is a very powerful transmuter, right? Hi, Metal Queen. Hello, spiritual love. Do go check out the soul sessions and there's one page, Walk With Me, that has some offerings on it. But on the Walk With Me page, they talk about the soul letter, the oracle voice note, and the guardian activation. Check out those 3 offerings, because I think that I feel like there's some people here that would benefit from them. Afternoon. So good old Scorpio moon. Nice. Oh my goodness. That cat is like something else. Thank you, Carol. Yeah. So the practice for it, and then we'll do the questions and answers, like common questions and answers for the topic, which will get me channeling a little bit more. But so the soul depth mirror is what the practice is called. So if you set a sacred mirror before you, place a mirror before you, and light a single candle. And then you're going to say aloud, I am ready to see what I once feared to witness. I meet my depths in truth and tenderness. And then you're going to witness any memories, sensations, or emotions that arise. Just let them speak. Right? Let it come up, whatever it is. And then say, I reclaim the pieces of me that I once cast aside. I am whole. I am sovereign. I am free. And then breathe and just journal what you saw. Now, this embodiment practice is, she's inviting you up as a guest. So the practice is available in the journal that's for free on the Temple of Light. So if you want the companion journal and to have the written out practice, you'll get that, like I said, at the Temple of Light, which is completely free. And I don't spam you with emails, right? I actually haven't done very many emails, and you determine how many emails you want through what you're doing. So that sacred mirror practice is in the guide, along with some other stuff. Hello. I'll take 10K followers. I've had over 100,000 likes on one of my lives. Remember that day when we got over 100,000? I was expecting there was going to be some kind of whoo when we hit the 100,000 mark, but we didn't. There was nothing. It was underwhelming. I was like, really? You should give like a big, confetti or something on the screen for having 100,000 likes in one live. Love you, sweetie. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you. Teresa had to leave. I think I missed her, but she'll see it in the replay that I was like, hey. Love you. Yeah. So what's everybody up to? How's your energy? We're going to get our questions. I'll do our questions and answers in a moment. I was thinking about doing some cards. I pulled them out, but then I didn't end up pulling any. I'm doing really well. How's yours? I was talking about how I was a little bit cranky today, but that allowed me to get to the root of something, which was good. It's how we're supposed to do it. I've been a little bit wanting to sleep in. I mean, I never really do. That's so funny. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that, Tony. We're some of us here, like that's the one thing. Like some of us here, we don't. We're totally outside of politics. We think all of politics is a scam. Yeah, yeah, same. It's just the energies. It's just the energies. That's when you have to ask yourself, like, is this me or is this like everything else that's going on? Yeah. So it's understandable you needed more sleep then. Yeah, lots and lots of energies out there right now, for sure. For sure. For sure. Simply a trigger warning. That's cute. Well, I don't know. Maybe someday you'll be the same as us, Tony. No, actually, you're the sheep. You're the sheep because you're still so convinced that some political party is going to save you. We're here saving ourselves. But you keep being the sheep, bud. Right? The ones that see the truth and know the truth and see far beyond the political landscape, they're not the sheeps, bro. Thank you. Right? So the questions that I have for you, sorry, just you. Do you think he left? Do you think he left? Or do you think he wanted to hang out with us some more? My system's really slowed down. Like I think it's lagging. I got one little tiny dot there. It's saying that this, oh, it's gone to yellow now. So is that lagging there for a minute? Maybe he could be doing that. I was like, why'd you stop talking to us? We were having fun. Okay, good. Yeah, it's just it showed it a red dot by the house, and I was like, and on TikTok or on YouTube, sorry, on the YouTube up there, it was showing just the one dot and it wasn't up in 11.1, 11.1, 111, new beginning, 144. That's hilarious. It's hilarious. Hi, Jean. So we have a couple of classes, mini classes that are coming up in the month. Let me see if I can pull it up on one of my pages. Put it up on one of my pages. What they are. So the 3 events that I will be holding, if you missed the hidden, if you missed the hidden cost of frequency, if you missed that, then maybe on August 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern, you'd like to join me for a guardian-led Akashic reconciliation rite, or you might want to join me on Monday, August 18th at probably 6 p.m. Or we might do that at 3:30 as well. We'll see. I haven't set the time for that yet. So if you have any preferences, definitely let me know. So Monday, August 18th, at whatever time we set it at, I will be doing a Krystic solar flame rite. I am the solar heart of the one. So that one's the Monday one. And then womb waters and magnetic field harmonization is the other one. And that will be held on the 26th of August. So those are the 3 that are scheduled for the rest of this the rest of this month. So if you're interested in those or want more information, check out the website. I'll be putting all the events up there soon. I've been so busy with the 2 courses that I'm putting together that it's been a bit to so yeah. So if you're a member of the Guardian Pathway, you get the one for free. If you're a member of the Krystic Mastery Circle, you get both of them for free. If you want to attend them, they're $22.22 per class. That's the cost of them. And then afterwards, if I think it's worthwhile, like the hidden cost of frequency, why I'm so tired and how to reclaim my energy, that's available on the website now as a purchase, where you get the recording, you get the video recording, you get the audio of the meditation, you get the field decree, and you get the 2 sigils as a package. So yeah. Sorry, my computer's hanging now. My computer's being a bugger. I think if I can get it to cooperate, I'll just finish up the topic that we were going to talk about. Hi, John. How are you? And hi, Valentine. Sorry. White shirts are bad to wear on lives. Like, I have to keep putting something with color, with color behind the words, because I can't see them. Right. So yeah, just the Ascension pathway. That's what we're talking about here for those of you that's newly joined. And we were actually talking about the sacred mirror and how Scorpio is getting us to look at our issues and bring them to light. So we'll see how that goes. See how that experience goes. Just be gentle with yourself, right? Just be gentle. So yeah, the companion journal has an invocation, which is Scorpio, gatekeeper of sacred truth. Lead me to the fire beneath the water. Let no lies survive the light of this remembrance. And then there's, what part of me have I been afraid to meet? What old pain or shame is ready to be honored and released? And what truth have I known all along but haven't allowed myself to live? As well as what truth did the mirror reveal to me today? How can I meet my discomfort with devotion instead of avoidance? Where have I mistaken control for power? And what part of me is rising from the ashes of self-rejection? So I gave some extra questions for this one. And then the mantra is, I meet myself in the depths. I reclaim all that I am. So yeah, so that's, I'm good, John. How are you? Hello, say hello. Say hello, like the live, subscribe. If you're on your Ascension pathway, follow me. Follow me. That's what I post about. They are good questions. They are good questions. I think I'm going to have to do them myself this time for sure. Right? It's important that I embody the things as well. Like I do a whole morning rituals. Like I speak decrees. I do planetary, like grid work. I do all kinds of things because it's about living embodied. Right. Same thing with, I cook very holistic foods. I'm actually looking forward to supper tonight. I'm having a chickpea Greek salad, which was delicious last night. So I'm going to finish it tonight. It was very, very yummy. I love it. I love it. Very good. Right. Nice. Yeah, I find that, we have to get serious. right? We have to get serious about the ascension pathway, right? I think that, you know, we keep wanting, you know, like talking about the new earth and talking about, you know, but we're not wishing it into existence. We create it through our own recognition of the truth. The more that we remember the truth and speak the truth, right, and then embody what the truth is, the sooner that we're going to have the new earth that we want, right? It's through the embodiment. It's what many people miss out on in manifestation. They think if they just say enough affirmations repeatedly enough, if they just keep saying it and saying it and saying it and keep thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, it's just going to happen. And while miracles do happen occasionally where you've really done nothing, right? You've done nothing, it just happened. But for the most part, you have to do the active part, right? It's like I say all the time, if you want to live a healthy life, you can't just wish it into being. You should probably, you know, at least look at what you're eating and look at what you're doing. If you're sitting still all day long in a very sedentary life and you're eating all kinds of processed junky food, you won't be healthy. You have to actually do the things that will lead to health, like eat the healthy food and, you know, get outside and to the fresh air and go for a walk and put your feet on the grass and all kinds of things like that, right? You have to actually do them. Say hi and follow, like the live. We talk about ascension and the truth here. My other channel is One Truth Sets You Free, because that's all it takes is one truth to set you free. Could be hearing about the illusion of money, or it could be hearing about demigods or something else that brings about that for you. But the one truth is all it takes. And that's all why we're still seeing people awaken. Some people think we've, you know, passed some point and it's too late. And if you haven't woke up by now, well, then there's no hope for you. No, there's hope. There's always hope that at any moment that person could wake up and just snap right out of it. Nice. Just really, really out having some fun. Yeah, I think that's a part of a thing for me as well, is that I do need to do a little more going out and interacting with people, which is nice. That's very, very good. That's very, very good. As long as you're okay with it. Don't sign yourself up to something that you're not okay with. The next thing you know, 5 years from now, you're like, oh man, another thing, and another thing. Like, I just want to sit at home. The next thing you know, you guys are never doing anything together. Right. So yeah. It's like that, what I used to say about the girl that pretends she likes baseball and I love sports. And next thing you know, she's married to a guy that watches nothing but sports all the time. And it's just like, I didn't think it was going to be every bit of my life. So yeah. Yep. Anyway, that's that. Nice. That's doable. That's definitely doable. Definitely doable. All righty. Well, I'm going to hop off because I'm going to call my son because I haven't talked to him in a little bit. And I will catch you guys on Thursday. Let me check and see if I can pull up Thursday's live notes. I don't know. My computer is being a bit delayed today, so I think I need to restart it and restart the internet, and in that I think everything will be fine. I think that'll help everything if I do that, but I'm gonna check. This might be working right now, just might have enough enough energy. But go check out the website. There's lots of stuff there. Lots of stuff. Love you too, sweetheart. Come on. So we're going to be talking about the sword and the song. The sword and the song on Thursday. So Thursday, 3:30, right here on TikTok and YouTube. We'll be back at it again for the sword and the song. All right. I love you guys. Have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for all the gifts and all the likes and all the just the energy that you've shared here. I love you guys. Go check out the site. And if you want in on the Bridge to Light and, you know, just like connect with me and find out more about it. If you want to talk about scholarship options, you know, make a call. If you want something smaller, just make a call. If you are confused about what to do, just anything, make a call and we'll talk. And I'll let you know what I think is aligned for you. All right. But we'll see each other on Thursday at 3:30 right here on TikTok and YouTube. I love you. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Bye, guys.